You are now listening to MrZBlackneffect.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Look, Mr. Z don't even got the patience. Shout out to the brother Jeff St. James. I don't even know how far did I even get into that conversation? Y'all talking about emotionalism, Jeff St. James. I hope I built enough positive rapport with you because Z don't got the patience. I got not even 50 minutes. Jeff St. James, shout out to you, brother. Look. I hope I built enough positive rapport with you. But yeah, look. Oh man, as a child of immigrants, yes, I'm gonna get through the whole thing. This is just our rough draft, the initial probably unhinged, probably proving the point opinion of Mr. Z. Because I can't do it. Look, I can't even pretend to even Z, get your words together. True. Okay. We're gonna stop with the laughing. Moment of seriousness. Look, white folks are cowards, Jeff St. James. White folks are cowards. All the other people of color, non-black, are cowards. All the folks that are black folks that are pretending both ADOS and non-ADOS folks are cowards. White folks are feeling the squeeze because they can't run around the planet doing whatever they want to do anymore. The dollar is losing its power. The U.S. prestige is losing its power. And quite frankly, they're going to punch down on the one group that they know they've been able to punch down on throughout American history, throughout U.S. history. Black fatigue. Remember how we all started hearing about this word. Yes, you are correct about its legitimate origins. Remember how we started hearing about this word. It was because a white young lady called a black 5-year-old the N-word, Jeff St. James. That's how this word got into the popular the lexicon of America. Yes, we know there's an academic origin of it. Huh? They're cowards, Jeff St. James. It's not about black people's behavior. Black people had two ways to go. And yes, Aaron McGruger, and that's before we even get to that, I'm going to get to the Aaron McGruger and what he said about essentially black moral currency being bankrupt. Mr. Z has implied this and suggested this multiple times. So is BGS. We're going to get into it in a minute, but let's go to this. Black folks have two ways to go. You were either going to be black folks or you're going to be black Jews. Ooh, goddamn. What do you mean by that, Z? If black folks tomorrow, Thanos snap finger, boom. Okay, black folks are marrying each other. Black folks are going to school for STEM. Black folks are not mentioning race. Black folks are actually minimizing race. Even when it happens to them, black folks are minimizing racism. Black folks are starting to climb up the corporate ladder. Black folks are kissing white people's ass. Black folks are not marrying or touching any white person. Black folks are perfectly respectable. Chef's kiss, perfectly respectable. Black folks make Asians blush. How kiss ass and respectable they are. Guess what? Now you're the Jews. Ooh, goddamn. And they still got a problem with you. And they're still going to try to sabotage you. As a matter of fact, I would argue you ain't seen anti-blackness like you about to see anti-blackness. Huh? It's not about Shaquisha in the bonnet. I'm not saying that Shaquisha should be wearing the bonnet in public. Lakeisha, Shaquisha, what did Raven Simone say? Watermelon Nitra should not be, which is racist as hell, but okay, fine, should not be wearing the bonnet in public. No, she should not be loud. No, her kids are running around. White people and their kids running around. We're not gonna say nothing about that. Okay, fine. Let's be clear what Mr. Z is not saying. Mr. Z is not saying that black people are responding appropriately to anti-blackness in this society. That is not what Mr. Z is saying. What Mr. Z is saying is that it didn't matter how you responded in the first place. Huh? I do believe there is an appropriate response. I think Jeff St. James does exhibit that I think we have a number of black men in the black manosphere that exhibit that, huh? By the way they speak, the way they carry themselves, their argumentation, huh? The way they reason, their discipline. We have a number of folks, our new style, I would argue, Dr. Thunder, I would argue, Black Uru, right? BG. There are a number of black men in the black manosphere, I would argue, black adjacent folks, shout out to Jason Black, that I would argue exhibit parts of black manhood and masculinity that wouldn't be a problem if you imitated. As a matter of fact, it would be a great thing if you imitated that about them. With that, that's not the problem. The problem is that you're black and you're supposed to be the permanent underclass. The problem is that your behavior was always going to be criminalized. You were always going to be looked at suspiciously because that's what you're here for. Ooh, goddamn, see, you weren't supposed to say that out loud. And expecting white or non-black people to say it overtly is waiting for, well, I know I don't want to piss off the Christian folks. Anyway, huh? This is not about black people's behavior. These folks are trying to justify it. How do you justify calling a 5-year-old the N-word and then saying, oh, it's because the way he's behaving? Huh? Non-black folks, non-AUS folks in particular are cowards. Everybody sees what's going on. White folks are cowards. Instead of them looking at the elites for how they've allowed for the uber wealthy to hoard all the wealth, all the opportunities, huh? Wasting billions and possibly trillions of dollars to go enforce their will on folks overseas, both in the Middle East, in Africa, and South America, well, the globe over, actually. In Asia with Vietnam, in the Middle East with Name the Country, in Africa with Name the Country, in South America, well, once again with Name the Country, these folks are cowards. Their opportunities, their money is sitting in some bank. Huh? And instead of these folks pointing the fingers at the people that's starving them out, they would rather punch down so they can feel something psychologically. At least we're still better than the Negroes. And Negroes is not the word Mr. Z wants to use. Huh? I would argue, and shout out to the brother that Jeff St. James had up earlier, his guest. I think that's what triggered Z, and Mr. Z has no problem with saying I was triggered. The second we start doing the respectability, shout out to Rael. Rael will tell you this is me and him, one of our biggest arguments. Shout out to the Roger Report, shout out to BGS and Black Uru, everyone that's been listening to Z for years, both on my channel and off my channel on other people's platforms. Y'all will remember that Mr. Z, although I am very respectable, and I can speak like this, and I can reason, and I can use my little vocabulary, right? Although I can speak like this, and I can be not so irate, I can be less animated. Huh? The second we start speaking respectability, Mr. Z gets triggered. Why? Because I know it's a bunch of crap. Respectability for black people is the gateway drug into some anti-blackness. Just let that Negro talk long enough and you go end up in Auschwitz. Goddamn, Z, that far, I said it. Respectability politics directed to black people by non-black people is how they justify doing whatever they wanted to do in the first place. I am not saying that black people shouldn't be respectable. I am saying that speaking on black people not being respectable is an excuse. We were being hung. I was about to say hung in suits. Black people were being hung in suits. Black people were being deleted, assassinated in suits. Black people went to multiple Ivy League universities, traveled around the country, and debated their humanity. And white folks said, yeah, about your little humanity, whatever, monkey. Huh? Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, name them, were debating folks that saw them as less than about their own humanity. The term Black fatigue became part of American popular consciousness because a white woman was on a playground and called a 5-year-old black boy the N-word and justified it by, once again, wait for it, his behavior, the behavior of a 5-year-old got him called the N-word by an adult. You can't get a better glaring example that it's not about nothing, but they wanted to call you it in the first place. I am glad that that is how the term Black fatigue became part of the popular discourse, because that is what it is. America allowed for, and remember, she raised crazy money too. America allowed for a grown white woman to call a black 5-year-old boy the N-word. And then we started debating black people's behavior because of what a 5-year-old did. Do we not see the Tamir Rice in this? Oops. Huh? We started debating black people's behavior and how they conduct themselves, how they speak, how they dress, whether we realize it or not, and that's both for black folks and non-black folks, because a white adult woman called a 5-year-old black boy the N-word. And then we had both black and non-black folks completely ignore that and started trying to justify mistreating black folks because of a handful of black folks' behavior and criminality. Oh, Jeff St. James, that's what it is. It has nothing to do with ghetto culture. You know how we know? Because an adult white woman called a 5. Huh? This is why Mr. Z has always been weary. The second we start talking respectability, I'm like, I don't know. I don't trust it. And shout out to the Square brothers, the well-dressed, well-groomed, well-spoken, highly educated, professional brothers. This is not an indictment of you. Mr. Z is not trying to insult you. But I need you to get over your childhood trauma of not being accepted by wayward black people. God damn, Z, you said that out loud. And I did. Huh? If I'm gonna tell the ladies to get over who didn't find them attractive in middle school and high school, Z, you might lose some subscribers. I know. I'm gonna need you to get over the fact that big booty Brenda in high school wasn't checking for you. God damn, Z, you said that. Huh? I get it, brothers. The Carlton Banks brothers of the black community. I get it. I understand. Mr. Z wasn't the cool, swaggy dude in high school like that. I was middle of the road, right in the middle. Huh? You have to be careful how you're playing with this type of rhetoric. I appreciate that some of you think you know what you're doing. You try to walk that fine line by saying, look, I'm not saying that the white people are justified, but I'm just saying it's because of the handful of the people that behave a certain way in the way they act and the way they dress. No, stop. Once again, if tomorrow black folks woke up and we were perfectly respectable, we all attended college and university for the money-making degrees. No one ever brought up race. No one ever brought up justice. Ain't no protest. Everybody getting married and having children within wedlock. You would still have a problem. You know what it is? That you're black. Everyone speaking well, perfect grammar, enunciate their words correctly, winning all the spelling bees, huh? Black women losing weight, no tattoos, perfectly relaxed hair, huh? Fried, dyed, and laid to the side, huh? Black women messing up their skin with all the makeup, pores can't breathe worth a damn, huh? Black men over here shucking and jiving, yes sir, no sir, yes a boss. And you would still have a problem. That's your black. It was always because you're black. The behavior of a handful of black folks is just justification for white folks and non-black folks to do what they wanted to do to you in the first place. You're supposed to be the permanent underclass. Why are we waiting for folks that made sure that you're the permanent underclass to tell you, by the way, you know you're the permanent underclass, right? Huh? Wow. Shout out to Jeff St. James, his original guest. Mr. Z didn't even make it an hour. I got 47 minutes. I was like, okay, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, I know we don't got the Thomas Sowell argument going on. Not the Thomas Sowell. Ask the average black person about Thomas Sowell. They don't know who you talking about. Excuse me, is he talking about being respectable? Ask the average white conservative about Thomas Sowell, and they know who he is. But the average black person doesn't, because he doesn't move the needle one iota over here. Not that if we just dressed and acted like Carl Banks, then we would be perfectly okay in this anti-black, white, neo-colonial settler state country. Now y'all got me sounding like the goddamn black liberal women. Now Mr. Z sound like a black liberal woman. Now y'all got me sound like the Rainbow Brigade. Huh? Mr. Z is not arguing against black people being respectable. I'm saying that black people being respectable, speaking well, and dress well is not going to stop folks from being and acting in ways that are destructive to black folks, because you're supposed to be the permanent underclass. Huh? Everyone from Rush Limbaugh, I would like to direct y'all to the interview Rush Limbaugh had before he passed, when he was on the Breakfast Club. Everyone from Rush Limbaugh to Nick Fuentes to Levine, whatever his first name is, I forgot. You listen to these folks, and it's always justification. What was his name again? The black head of the RNC. His face is right there. Oh, his face is right there. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He ran for president. He didn't. This was back in what, 2008. His face is right. How did I forget his name? and he helped to reinvigorate the Republican Party after Obama won. Somebody go say his name in the chat. His face is right there. I can't even get it up. But he even spoke about the anti-blackness. Michael Steele, thank you, Lithium. Yes, Michael Steele. That's what I'm trying to say. Michael Steele. Jesus Christ, can't believe I couldn't say the name. Right there. Thank you. Michael Steele spoke about the anti-blackness in his party. Huh? You have a number of folks. Colin Powell spoke about the anti-blackness in his party. Huh? You have a number of folks who speak about the limitations of a conservative worldview. Mr. Z will admit to you the limitations of a more left-leaning worldview concerning black folks, concerning black men. We all speak about that in the black manosphere. Huh? But we can see, did we not see none of them white folks shake him, what's his name, hand? And we was making fun of him a few years ago? The senator, the brother out of the Carolinas. Did we not make fun of him and his cheeklet, his little tiny teeth? Boy, he got way bad gum over teeth ratio. No? You're relegated to boy status on the conservative side of the political spectrum as a black man. As a matter of fact, Z, you're about to say it, if you not white, any man of color, any man of different sexual orientation who's not white, you are relegated to boy status. Huh? You know how we know? Because didn't Nick Fuentes chastise black folks or black conservatives when he was going at Jason Whitlock? Didn't he essentially say, y'all failed at y'all job? Y'all job is to bring more black folks to this side of the political spectrum. And he essentially called all of them folks, Candace Owens and the like, coons. Huh? Why is Mr. Z bringing this up in the argument? To emphasize, black folks are responding inappropriately to a toxic environment. I've said this multiple times. I've expressed this multiple times. But to speak as if the toxic environment does not exist and will not exist, regardless of how black people behave, is to lie and gaslight black people. Jeff St. James spoke about black people's emotional response to non-black folks when they speak about black people's behavior. I agree with him. Mr. Z just exhibited it 5 seconds ago. With that, I would argue black folks, particularly AUS FBA, appreciate where we're going in the argument. It's all justification to dehumanize black people. And it takes a certain level of discipline. Believe it or not, Mr. Z has exhibited this in front of white folks. I know, Mr. Z, you disciplined? I know. It takes a certain level of discipline to look in the face of someone who is trying to justify why you should be on the socioeconomic bottom of this society, on the political bottom of this society, why we should remove your rights, why we should dehumanize you, because be very clear, that is what they're actually arguing. It takes a certain level of discipline to know that is what the foundation of whoever's argument is, and to still debate them in good faith. Huh? Myron Gaines, and I have the clip. I thought I didn't download it. I actually do have it. Myron Gaines was doing his tour, and A white young man in college said something like, "Black folks, it's not your right to be next to us," and essentially you're saying like, we don't want to live around you, et cetera, and your behavior and whatever. And Myron Gaines then proceeded to say, "I think they have low IQ." That's what it's always been about, Jeff St. James. That's what it's always been about. Huh? Oh, Doug M. See that you guys were correcting me. That's the guest name, Doug MPA. Yes. Oh, thank y'all. Thank you. That's what this is about. It's always been about that, regardless of black people's behavior. If black people were perfectly respectable, you would still be a problem because you're black and you don't know your place. The only reason the small hats in America get to move the way they do is because most of them are Ashkenazi, and they can blend in real well because, once again, they're white. Forget their ethnicity and their religion, they are white. Huh? To not have this at the foundation, one of the most frightening things in the world as a black man born and raised in America is to talk to other black people. And regardless if you agree with them or not, regardless of where they sit on the political spectrum, one of the most frightening things is to be speaking to a black person, and at the foundation of their argument is not that they're black, is not black people's political and social position in this society. It's not that black people were brought here to be property and black people are made to be the permanent underclass. It is frightening. Speaking of black people, both on the left, the right, the centrist, and they really think if I just minimize this one thing, if I play this one thing down, if I don't emphasize this one thing, if I speak about everything but this one thing, then my argument will be more valid. I'm not saying that black folks should bring that up everywhere and all the time concerning non-black folks, but appreciate that is at the foundation of whatever they're arguing to you. Huh? I was watching, as a matter of fact, it's on TYT, funny enough. I was watching a TYT clip years ago, and it was of a black mother and daughter who got into an argument with a white couple, middle-aged couple. And it's because the daughter, who looks like she might be in her late teens, got into a little argument with the wife, the white wife. Black teenage girl got into an argument with a white woman, wife. And so the black mother, being the black mother, obviously steps in for her daughter. The white husband, being a white husband, steps in for his white wife. And in the middle of the spat, in the middle of the argument, the white wife says, "That's why we used to own your ass." Why did Mr. Z bring that up? Because at the and even St. Uger brought this up at the end, at the beginning of every single conversation concerning a white person in America. Is that right there? Why are you even talking? Huh? Why are you even talking? Why are you debating me? Why aren't you bowing? Why are you not looking at me with your head down? Do you appreciate who you are in this society? What did the consummate gentleman say about his quote unquote black friend? The black guy that was laying him and slaying him. He called him a son of slave. He called black men who are out here having fun time with white women, and he doesn't understand how these black young men are having fun, are so it's so easy for them to lay and slay white women. He called black young men and black men the sons of slaves. Huh? So to Jeff St. James, right, and to his guest, I want us to appreciate that when we speak on these things. Once again, black people breaking laws will always be with you. Black people breaking laws will always, I said always, be with you. Huh? Black underworld culture will always be with you. No? If black men moved like white men, black men would be South Asian men. Degrees, yes. Highly educated, yes. Huh? Intelligent, yes. And yet your women are a sexual plaything for white men anyway. God damn. Ooh. You feel invisible anyway. God damn. Ooh. Huh? All you would be is the bizarro white man. Shout out to Asian men. Oops. Said that the way I meant it too. Huh? If black men were perfectly respectable, then black men would be Asian men. If black women were perfectly respectable, then black women would be, well, Asian women. Shout out to Mindy Kaling. Shout out to Nikki Haley. Uh-oh. No? Appreciate Mr. Z did this. White coworker, white male coworker, cool as hell, cool as a fan. I was debating an Asian coworker, and I said to him blatantly in the white coworker's face, at least we ain't kissing white people's ass. Z, you didn't say that. I said it, and I got proof. And the Asian coworker, looked at Z in front of the white coworker and said, "For now." Ooh, damn, Z. Jeff St. James, is that what we're relegating? Doug, is that what we're relegating black men to? To be kiss asses? I want you to appreciate that's how these other folks are moving, knowingly. Next story. A black coworker, right? Giving me the details of a story. He was speaking to a Middle Eastern coworker, and a Middle Eastern coworker was like, "Yeah, the problem with black people is the way y'all act and the way y'all speak. All the crap that we all done heard from these kiss asses." And the black coworker said to him, "Man, we don't care nothing about that. We don't care how y'all see us." And the Middle Eastern coworker looked at the black coworker and said, "Y'all ain't never gonna gain white people's respect like that." Ooh, god damn. Who appreciate the difference between black folks, I would argue specifically ADOS FBA black folks in America, and every single other group of people, is that black people are the only ones in majority and in aggregate that give white people that work. Everybody else here is kissing ass. Everyone else is kissing ass. You could call it respectable all you want. You could call it well-behaved all you want. Everyone else is kissing ass. Another story. Mr. Z speaking to his cousin, Harvard graduate cousin. Z, you were right. What you mean? Yeah, I was with my lady, his lady being white Asian mix at the time. I was with my lady. I went with her. She had a friend, family member come into town. They're looking for apartments in Cambridge, and I'm sitting there scrolling on my phone, etc., etc. And I overheard the mother say, "Yeah, this would be a nice apartment. Yeah, this is a nice white neighborhood, a nice place for you to find a white husband." The Asian mother said that to the Asian daughter. This would be a nice place for you to find a white husband. Everyone else is kissing ass. It's not about being respectable. It's about being the white man's bottom B. Huh? Appreciate that black folks are supposed to be the permanent underclass and the ultimate outgroup. There's no amount of respectability that's going to fix that. Now, once again, because I got to keep on giving the disclaimer, Mr. Z is not against being respectable. Mr. Z does appreciate that respectability politics practiced by black people is ultimately going to lead to anti-blackness. Huh? Ah, Mr. Z is not about denigrating the well-spoken, highly educated brothers, the white-collar brothers, the black women who behave well, who speak well, who are married to a black man. Mr. Z is not about insulting them at all, but appreciate Candace Owens. What the hell Candace Owens got to do with any of this, Z? What did she say on her Twitter comment about when she used to work for the Daily Wire? What did she say? She said she was encouraged. Shout out to all of you who pretended like you didn't see this. She said she was encouraged by Daily Wire to go after black people. All of us that saw that tweet know Mr. Z not lying. Huh? So all of you that was like, yeah, Candace Owens has a point, and yeah, it's the way we behave, and Candace Owens, Brexit, and yeah, Candace Owens, yeah. And what happened when Candace Owens started going back and forth with Ben Shapiro? Did y'all see Ben Shapiro get on there and say, "No, she lied about that"? Nope. Huh? Yeah. And we had that further corroborated by Nick Fuentes when he went at Jason Whitlock and he said, "Look, y'all have served y'all purpose. There's no reason for y'all to be here. Y'all not doing a good enough job. Y'all supposed to be bringing black people over here, and then not enough black people align with our politics." Huh? Black fatigue is an excuse. Now, Jeff St. James and Doug might say this a little bit later on in the stream. Remember, Mr. Z is less than 50 minutes into the stream. I will be listening to the rest. You might get a part 2 later on tonight. We will see. Huh? Black fatigue is an excuse for black folks and non-black folks to speak to and treat black folks disparagingly, to insult black people, to minimize black people, to criminalize the entire black group. It's an excuse. It was always an excuse. We can see that from the instance or the event that caused this term to become popular Once that adult white woman, Mr. Z emphasizing that it's an adult, that adult white woman call a black 5-year-old the N-word, y'all should have known right there. And excuse me, well, some black folks and white folks, looking at you, Anton, attempting to justify white folks saying black fatigue. The issue is no, it's not that. It's that white folks and everybody else is just so tired of the ghetto culture. We're just so tired of the loud ghetto culture, the loud music, and the big rims, and the you not kissing our ass like all these other folks. My title is In the Face of Dehumanization. And that's me speaking to something that Jeff St. James said earlier, which is essentially, paraphrasing, black folks responding inappropriately and overly emotional when debating non-black folks, namely white folks, about black people's behavior, black people's criminality, right? The title came about because in the face of being dehumanized, black people are going to respond inappropriately. I expect that. There are only a handful of black folks, I would argue, in the grand scheme, who can look someone in the face who they know, this black person knows, all you're attempting to do is justify dehumanizing me. It takes a certain level of discipline, ironclad discipline, bulletproof, bomb-proof discipline to know that this argument is not in good faith and still debate that person anyway in good faith. Huh? Whether it's Pearl, whether it's Nick Fuentes, whether it's Myron Gaines, huh? Whether it's Ben Shapiro, all of these folks want black people to be okay with being the permanent underclass, the out group. As Telescope says here, dog, designated out group. No matter what the group does, it'll be flipped into an excuse to discriminate against us. Huh? It's always about black people knowing their place. The out group. In the face of dehumanization. Now, Jeff St. James is 100% correct about an appropriate response. But the question then becomes, what is an appropriate response? See, I keep on emphasizing this, and I'm going to keep on emphasizing this. It takes a certain level of stoicism to look someone in the face who's saying everything but calling you a monkey, but they calling you a monkey. Huh? Who's calling you everything but a dumbass, but they calling you a dumbass. Huh? It takes a certain level of insane, stoicism and discipline to not be emotional in that instance. Huh? And so, yes, the person can say, you see, look how you're acting right now, proving my point. But what was their point ultimately? This is why you're the permanent underclass. Oops. This is why so many of you are in jail and in prison. Oops. This is why so many of your children, right, in context of society, aren't high school graduates, don't have degrees, right, are on welfare, etc., etc. Ah, and to answer Dylan, is it ever really in good faith? What these people are arguing is never in good faith. You watched it with Lily Gaddis. You're seeing it with Pearl. They're just chasing the bag. Where's the money? Oh, the money is in right now in 2025 with the election of Donald Trump. The money is in being a 12-year-old edgelord white boy. And everyone is chasing that bag, being as offensive, as mean, as insulting and degrading to whatever opposite end of the spectrum humanly possible. Whoever you are debating, whoever you are arguing with, whoever you disagree with, we are currently in the environment of the 12-year-old edgelord white boy. Shout out to you, Stephen Miller. Huh? And as you can see, these people don't mean any of it. How do you mean that, Z? When Ben Shapiro debated that British newscaster some years ago, what did he end up saying? Did he not sound like a little spoiled brat? People know who I am. People don't know who you are. Ah, there we go. Not fast talking stoic ass Ben Shapiro. Huh? Not Ben Shapiro, who wrote a whole book about how to debate. Who the second he couldn't outsmart and outtalk the British white dude, he resigned himself to 12-year-old white girl insults. I'm cooler than you. People know who I am. They don't know who you are. Uh-oh. Huh? Which one of them is there the recording of him threatening his wife? Was that Crowder or was that, I think that was Lottery Crowder threatening his ex-wife? We make fun of Bill O'Reilly because the recording of him, um, well, he used to work for what, Inside Edition? F it, we'll do it live. Huh? Bill O'Reilly on Fox News, disciplined, well spoken, smug as hell. But things don't go his way one time, and I know it was a constant occurrence, and he lost it, right? These folks that like to speak about black people, look, they're chimping out. They're chimping out. Look how often we're catching them now. Doing what, Z? Chimping out. Oh, but I forgot. White folks are human, so they can occasionally lose their faculties, lose their discipline. It's not an indictment on their humanity because they've already proven their humanity, by taking it away from everybody else and conquering and draping the planet. Black people, on the other hand, you're judged completely differently. You have to prove your humanity by allowing for people to insult you and say that you're not human and dehumanize you. Check the title. And in the face of that, you have to be stoic and disciplined. And that's how you prove your humanity. Huh? Yeah. Myron. who continuously insults black people, insults black women. He loves kicking a woman out of his studio. And when he was going back and forth with Abba and Preach, huh? And when he started to get demonetized from a bunch of different platforms, what he said, again, boof, broke something. Yeah, what about all that discipline? What happened? What happened with all that smug talk? You're not doing your whole college tour. You're trying to be a fake-ass Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk. Huh? We could do this all day. Black fatigue is an excuse. Not only did these people do to this term what they do to everything, colonize it, huh? The term became part of the popular consciousness because a white woman, adult, called a black 5-year-old the N-word on a playground. Huh? Now we're going to pause right here and speak about Aaron McGruger's comments. Mr. Z has said similar, right? Aaron McGruger is 150% correct that there's a moral currency that black people have been able to use and traffic in for decades. And that's gone. It's bankrupt. And that's an old clip of Aaron McGruger. I did not watch that. I didn't know he said that. But I've been saying it for years too. So, you know, it's good to know I'm in good company. Appreciate this. These folks didn't want to really give you that currency anyway, number one. Number two, the Nick Fuentes of the world resent their fathers. I've said this before. They resent their fathers, their elders' generation, because they feel like they gave away the farm. They gave away their farm to their stepmothers, to their wayward sisters, and to all those mongrel races. Ooh, goddamn, Z, you using mongrel? I said it. White men were supposed to hold on to the reins of power till the bitter end. You were supposed to pry the reins of power away from their cold, dead hands after a bitter fight. Huh? And the Nick Fuentes of the world and the McDougalls, whatever his name is, and all the alt-right folks and all the MAGA folks feel as if white folks, white men, just a bit, excuse me, just have been way too lenient with black folks in particular, but different sexual orientations. Women have been way too lenient with these folks for too long. Huh? Appreciate that. The moral currency that Aaron McGruger was essentially talking about. Yeah, but that was by force. That was because, and that was part of Martin Luther King's plan. Yo, we gonna show y'all to be these barbaric people that y'all are on camera. We gonna capture you on camera. Huh? We're gonna capture you on camera spitting on little girls just trying to integrate schools. Little kids, excuse me, trying to integrate schools. Huh? We're gonna capture you on camera. You know, I would argue that Jeff St. James is 100% correct about this, that white folks are now in the space of complete indifference and they just don't care. But they actually do care. They want you to know your place. It's not that they don't care. They want you to know your place beneath them, right? They feign indifference, but they are hyper aware of their station. And that's why you see your everyday average MAGA person going at the South Asians, because they appreciate, whether they know how to articulate it or not, they appreciate that the what's his name, Cash Patels and the Vivek Ramaswamy's and what's his name from Google, the CEO of Google, these folks are the managerial class of America right now, and they don't like it. Huh? So they are hyper aware. It's not that they're not aware. It's not that they're truly indifferent. What they're saying is you can no longer use that moral currency. We're not accepting the moral currency, and we don't care what we do to you. We don't care what's captured on camera. How else do you explain justifying calling a 5-year-old, a toddler, calling a 5-year-old the N-word, and then justifying it by somehow connecting that to black women wearing bonnets in public, or black men playing their music loud on their phone, or black folks using profanity in public? How do you justify speaking or calling, a 5-year-old the N-word and then start speaking about black fatigue? Huh? So that moral currency is gone, is what they're saying. But appreciate this. Shout out to all the black folks that think that this is not a problem. This is a major problem. Huh? What white folks are saying and non-black folks are saying is, now we have carte blanche to do what we want to do to you, and you can't use any sense of morality or humanity to kind of shame us and our barbarism. And that's all this is. Huh? It's legitimating barbarism. Huh? So Anne McGruger, I would argue, is correct that the moral currency that black folks once had is gone now. And you saw it with Nick Fuentes. He told you, I just don't give a F. Lily Gaddis, I just don't give a F. Huh? I don't care what I say or do that's inhumane, that's dehumanizing. I just don't give a F. Yeah, I'll call a 5-year-old the N-word, and huh? Yeah, I'll make fun of George Floyd and the absolute torture that he experienced in the span of 10 minutes. Yeah, I'll point and laugh at it. Huh? Yeah, I'll call black people monkeys. Yeah, I'll do all of it. And huh? So it is dehumanizing. And the moral currency is gone. Huh? Did you have black people that took advantage of the moral currency? Looking at you, black women. Yes. With that, these folks were looking to bankrupt you anyway. They were looking not to accept that moral currency anyway. And we're here now. Exactly. And Cheryl Bentley says, the spirit of Frieza is strong. Yeah. Frieza calling the Saiyans monkey every chance he get. Frieza calling the Saiyans monkey every chance he gets. Dehumanizing black folks. Whenever you hear white folks speak about, or any non-black person, quite frankly, any person concerning black people, including another black person, whenever you hear someone start speaking about black people's IQ negatively, appreciate all they're trying to do is justify why black people should be on the bottom. Respectability politics, trying to justify why black people should be on the bottom. Huh? So, I'm not gonna keep y'all too long. Let me read these super chats and we'll get underway. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Otis says, and my apologies for having you wait so long, Otis. And Otis says, did you see the VP repost a tweet about trying to get white women reparations? Wow. Ben Shapiro just had to tell white men to pull up their bootstraps. It's comedy. Yeah, it's fascinating, and I didn't mention this, and thank you for actually saying that, Otis, because I thought about it and I didn't mention it. We could see that these people don't mean none of that when you put their back into the wall. See, it's easy to punch down and insult black people and dismiss black people and their plights. And look at Ben Shapiro now. Ben Shapiro been flirting with, not even flirting with, he's been holding the banner up for anti-blackness for the longest. This is the guy that facts don't care about your feelings, right? Facts don't care about your feelings. And now your WASP are starting to question, not even start to question America's support for Israel. And all of a sudden, Ben Shapiro and them looking like, they want you to care about their feelings about Israel. Facts don't care about your feelings, but all of a sudden, once WASP white folks start being like, wait a minute, let's do the math. How much money are we sending to Israel? Wait a minute. Wait, all this support, wait, weaponry, technology, why they able to call shots over here in America? All of a sudden, Ben Shapiro wants you to care about feelings now. Huh? So there's that. Telling white folk, and yeah, I mean, I did see the clip of him speaking about essentially, if you gotta move, you gotta move. Right? And that speaks to family and community and excuse me. How do you build community when you're always moving and you're always running from these economic nuclear bombs that go off in your community that price you out? So you're here for 10 years, 15 years, then you got to move because, well, Amazon, Jeff Bezos just moved into your neighborhood and he gonna price you the hell out. Property taxes are gonna skyrocket, so you got to move again. Then you're here for 10, 15 years, then you got to move again. Then you're there for 5 years, you got to move again. Because Elon just opened a super center next to you and you got priced out again. Right? So what Ben Shapiro said just speaks to not someone that's so much out of touch, because he is, but someone that said just accept your fate on the bottom, your fate, excuse me, not faith, your fate on the bottom, and accept what comes with that. You don't get to build community. You don't get to stay somewhere for the rest of your life. You get to be our peasants. You get to move every 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, because you can't afford where you're at anymore because we done priced you out the game. Huh? When you have certain folks, the Antons of the world, the Anton Daniels of the world, and they speak this way, do they appreciate that ultimately where you end up is Ben Shapiro? You ultimately say to folks, could you just shut up? You didn't win the lottery and be born to a well-off family. Huh? You didn't appreciate how quickly the door for upward mobility was going to shut, or at least was going to become so unbelievably difficult compared to what it was all of 10 and 12 years ago and 15 years ago. You're bad. So just accept your position and shut the hell up. Now you're just a pawn in elite people's game. When the Antons speak, do they appreciate that eventually they become the Ben Shapiros? Just telling middle class and poor folks to just accept their position. Not even doing the whole, well, you need, that's why I'm telling you that you need to start a business and you the entrepreneurship and the hustle culture and the. We're not even doing that anymore. We're just telling people to shut up. Huh? And to saying that white women deserve reparations, who were the biggest beneficiaries, excuse me, who were the largest beneficiaries of affirmative action and of DEI? Was it not white people? Was it not white women? Was it not white people of different sexual orientations? Was it not white people in general? Did they not benefit from an affirmative action and DEI more than anyone else? Namely white women? Are white women not seen as a social minority in this society? Although they constitute the largest population in this society? Where's the facts don't care about your feelings crowd? Where y'all at? Going back to the going back to the theme of today's stream, Mr. Z Robin. It's not about black fatigue. It's not about what's factually accurate. It's not about history. These folks are cowards. They feel like they're losing power, so they're tightening their grip. Huh? And old habits die hard. And America has a habit of punching down on black people whenever they feel just a little uncomfortable, just a little unsure of themselves. When the environment gets just a little too tense, just a little too difficult, they have to remind themselves that they're better than somebody. At least we're still smarter than them, Negroes. At least we're still better than them, Negroes. Let's go remind them their place beneath us. So reparations for white men. Oh no, white men. Okay, trying to get reparations for white men. I don't know why thought I saw white women, but either way, same difference. Reparations for white men. So we're going to give. And by the way, appreciate what that means. That all that will do is remind everyone who's on top. Reparations for white men, who are already the wealthiest group of people in America. So we're just going to open up the gap even further. What does reparations for white men look like as you have the great wealth transfer occurring? Huh? Ah. So we will take away affirmative action, which was in DEI, which was assisting white men. Yeah. Joy Reid, not Joy Reid, Z. Joy Reid even spoke about DEI. You want to know who was a beneficiary of DEI? JD Vance. Ooh, goddamn, Z. Not JD Vance being a beneficiary of DEI. Where's JD Vance from, everyone? Where is JD Vance from? The masses of Yale attendees are white folks, white men, but they're from the coast and they're largely from well-to-do families. Considering where JD Vance is from and the application process is dun, 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 DEI, diversity, equity, diversity, equity, and inclusion. They diversified who they accepted with JD Vance. Huh? Equity, you know what? Let's give him a chance. Inclusion, will include him. So we're saying that we're going to take away DEI from white men, and then we're going to give them reparations to make up for it, maintaining the gap. Okay, yeah, that's it. All right. All right. Huh? Exactly, Big Mo. And he's a veteran. That also gets included into DEI, by the way. Thank you, Appalachia. Appalachia. Trail said reparations for white men is Banks too big to fail. You hear me? Huh? Huh? And Joe says white people working their way back to Snowpiercer. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. So when we speak about black fatigue and Mr. Z responds with this stream in the face of dehumanization, I think in the long run, we needed this. I think too many black people got way too comfortable. Too many black young folks didn't appreciate that you were a second away from Jim Crow era. It just happened yesterday in the grand scheme of things. Too many immigrants, children of immigrants, grandchildren of immigrants got way too comfortable, right? Y'all didn't think these white folks really meant what they meant. Y'all didn't think these white folks meant what they said. Huh? Too many non-black people got way too comfortable. Huh? I would like to direct you to Vivek Ramaswamy's face right now. Huh? You thought throwing black people in the bus was going to save you. It was going to endear you to the same racist white folks that you were using their type of rhetoric. And well, how's Ohio treating you right now? Oops. Huh? Trump and MAGA and this talk of black fatigue and these weirdo folks and how they're speaking, all the Lily Gaddis of the world, the black folks the black men who got a hard on hearing Lily Gaddis say the N-word, and then you realize who the hell she really was. Huh? Little blonde, blue-eyed white girl saying the N-word. You're like, ooh, she look like she one of us. She chill with us. And then you realize who she really is. Uh-oh. Huh? Those black girls that were on Fresh and Fit, and then what's his name? McDowell, whatever his name is, said the N-word, and then y'all had to get up and leave because y'all couldn't take it no more. And then he said, wait, I did this before. Ooh. I did this before. The first time he was up there, he said the N-word. Those black girls stayed. The second time, the black girls got up and left. Yeah, why y'all in there with Myron and them anyway? Why y'all on there anyway? Has the word not gone out who the hell Fresh and Fit are? Huh? Black people, why is it you wait until the white person or non-black person say the N-word for you to be like, oh, I think they're racist. Wait, what? So when they were speaking about black people's low IQ, low impulse control, criminality, you didn't get it then? Huh? When they were doing all the respectability politics crap, excuse talk, you didn't get it then? Oh, I get it. Everybody needs for these people to say the N word with the hard ER, looking threatening and aggressive, for y'all to get it. Oh, even when they do that, y'all still gonna act like y'all don't get it. Okay, all right, all right. And Joe's, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Huh? Wow. And Oppo says, just like we gotta check black women, the white sphere, and the model minorities, the same goes for fellow square brothers who hide their anti-blackness in quote-unquote alternative labeling. We see you. Not a shot at Jeff. No. This wasn't a shot at Jeff. But I am weary of respectability politics because I know it's the gateway drug into anti-blackness. Shout out to the brother Rael. We don't agree on a lot politically, but he's been hearing me say that for years. The Roger Report has been hearing me say that for years. BGS, the nameless protagonist, all of them have been hearing me say that for years. Black Uru has been hearing me say that for years. Art New Style, AB Media, Edward Anderson, Charles Faulkner Jr. have been hearing me say that for years. We let Negroes talk long enough, and I both mean ADOS FBA and non-ADOS FBA. We let y'all talk long enough with the respectability, and we gonna slow walk ourselves into some anti-blackness. It sounded crazy until people started seeing it. Y'all always saw it. Y'all just didn't put two and two together. Huh? So this is not a shot at Jeff, and this is not so much, not yet at least, a shot at his guest Doug. Because I'm less than a third of the way through the stream, so context. With that, I am weary of using respectability and charging black folks with not being respectable enough. Although, wait for it, Mr. Z does say that black people are responding inappropriately to this toxic environment. With that, to not acknowledge that the environment is toxic, number one, and for just about everyone, debating black people, having conversations with black people about black people's behavior, what their real issue with you is that you do not accept your position on the socioeconomic bottom. They need you to accept that you are outgroup. They need you to accept your permanent underclass position. Everything they debate with you is an excuse because you haven't accepted it, number one. Number two, everyone has an issue with you because they feel like you cheated the system and they blame the liberals for it. Not only were black people supposed to be the socioeconomic bottom, black people were not supposed to be seen. They were supposed to be, they weren't supposed to talk unless spoken to. Black people were supposed to be on the outskirts of cities, away from everyone. They were supposed to be the goddamn hobbit. Goddamn, Z, really? Huh? Head down, very meek, very mild, very quiet. You do all the service jobs. You keep your head down. You're super ultra mega pleasant. You always have a smile on your face. Huh? You ever see when white folks go overseas and they're traveling and they're like, oh yeah, these people are so pleasant, they're so nice, they're so kind. And it's not really that those people are not human beings and they don't have the whole range of emotions. Is they don't want to mess up the money. You're a tourist and you're white. So they shucking and jiving for you because once again, they don't want to mess up the money. They're not as pleasant as you think they are. It's actually, that's another form of dehumanization, by the way. Huh? That is how you're supposed to be, black people. Smiling, always with a smile on your face, always skinning and grinning. Huh? Toujours abguillé d'un, like we say in Creole, always smiling, always skinning and grinning, always showing your teeth. By the way, that's the translation in Creole. All of this is excuses. We appreciate that. Huh? Once again, Mr. Z is not saying that black people shouldn't be respectable. Mr. Z has a problem with speaking about respectability like it's the be all end all. Like it is the issue. It's not the issue, it's an issue. The issue is anti-blackness. The issue is white supremacy. And I think we minimize that and we water it down when we minimize how white folks and other non-black people of color see black people, regardless of whether you're respectable or not, regardless of whether you're professional or not, regardless of how you speak. And we have to appreciate, and this is one of my biggest issues with Chris Rock, because the second he said on the stand-up, white folks been using this term, and some of you wayward-ass black people been using this for far too long. There's a difference between black people and the N-word. There is no difference. The difference is whether that person want to call you the N-word or not. There is no difference. There's a difference between black people and the N-word. What's the difference? You could wear a suit. You could have your sports coat on. You could have your blazer. Ladies could have your pencil skirt in your heels and your hair fried, dyed, and laid to the side. You could be perfectly respectable with your librarian glasses on. Speak well, dress well, smell good. And that non-black person could still call you the N-word. Could be startled by something. Could have a bad day and still call you the N-word. Huh? It could be a little tense moment in the line. Y'all walking up to the cashier. Y'all both pause. You going first? I'm going first. You take the lead. You go first. And under their breath, you hear them say, N-word. And guess what? You just came from work and you're well dressed. You're white collar. You earn $200,000 a year. What's the difference between the N-word and the black person? There is no difference. Does that person want to call you the N-word or not? Huh? Does that person want to call you the N-word or not? Oh, you speak so well. Mr. Z got it before. Multiple times. Exactly, Trell. Mr. Z got it before. Huh? So, on that note, y'all, I just wanted to come to y'all with that. Look, Mr. Z was ranting. I couldn't do it, y'all. Shout out to Jeff St. James. I hope I built enough good rapport with you. But yeah, brother, I couldn't do it. I'm gonna listen to the rest. But Mr. Z could not get through the whole thing without look. I didn't even get a whole 50 minutes. Forget an hour. And I was like, wait a minute, wait. Right? I want us to be careful. Black men, we gotta be super careful. I know we have our issues with black women, right? I know we have an issue with how the left has benign neglected black boys and black men and allowed for wayward black people, non-black people, um, different folks with their different type of sexualities to traffic on black men's death and oppression for the upliftment of everyone but, well, black men, straight black men in specific. I know, I get it. With that, we got to be extremely careful on how we then choose to respond and not let our anger be used to justify our own dehumanization. I know some of us think we're further up on the ladder, huh? And we think we have shown our bona fides. Looking at you, Anton, Hodge twins, Candace Owens, etc., etc. What's the name of that family again with the all boys? And they, anyway. I know some of us think that we are not subject to any type of discrimination or anti-blackness because we think we've proven ourselves. We think we have distanced ourselves from the masses of black folks or from the wayward black folks. And I would argue no. Huh? I would argue no. And I would argue you could never distance yourself enough because you wear the same jersey color. You could never throw other black people under the bus enough. You could never distance yourself away from quote unquote ghetto culture enough. Huh? You could never class yourself up enough because you wear the same jersey color. And because you wear the same jersey color every single second of every day, you will be having to prove that you're not like the next Negro. Huh? What's the name of the brother that got let go from that think tank that he used to work for? His name is right there. Bald head brother, older conservative brother. Oh man, I forgot his name. He's right. Not Larry. Is it Larry? Somebody, not Larry Elder. It's not Larry Elder. It's what's the name of that brother? Oh man, he's right there. Conservative brother. Oh, forgot his name. Damn, I forgot his name. His face is right there. Somebody go say it. Mr. Z with these names, I know. Every time I want to say his name, I forget the last name. Anyway, not Michael Steele. It's not Michael Steele. I said that earlier. Not Michael Steele. It's a conservative brother. He has his own YouTube channel. Not Armstrong Williams. Is he bald? I want to say. I don't remember if he's bald or not. I don't think he's bald. Conservative. Did he work for the Heritage Foundation? I don't think he worked. He worked for one of them other think tanks, I want to say. Man, I made reference to him too. Did he debate Richard Wolff? I don't want to say he debated Richard Wolff maybe last year sometimes. Glenn Lowry, thank you. Glenn Lowry, yes. Miguel, thank you. Glenn Lowry, that's what I'm speaking about. That is what I'm speaking about. Glenn Lowry, thank you. Glenn Lowry's another one. You in there, you speak well, you debate well, huh? You forward all that hyper capitalist crap, and you question them folks over there one time and they drop your ass. Huh? Glenn Lowry, thank you, Miguel. Glenn Lowry, and there you go. whatever that hot button topic is that you're not supposed to talk about, especially you as a Negro. And Negro is not the word Mr. Z wants to use. All uh, think of it. For decades, you've been pushing this. You're on the right side politically, pun intended. You speak well, you dress well, you debate well, you rub elbows with the right people, you all of it. Huh? Your credentials are platinum plated. And you speak about that hot button issue in a way these people didn't sanction, and you out of there. You're respectable in all, just everything, just platinum plated credentials. Your bona fides cannot be questioned. You have proven that you the good Negro, you the good kind. You're not one of those wayward lefties. You're married to a black woman, so you don't even got a white wife. Huh? You have proven yourself. And you speak about one thing, one way that they didn't sanction, and that's your ass. It's not black fatigue, everyone. People's issue is not ghetto culture. Ghetto culture in the black community is an issue, but that's not people's issue for real. Once again, it's an issue. It's not the issue. The issue is that you're black. The issue is that you're black and you want to be seen. Shut up. Go sit in the corner and wait for us to call on you. Huh? Arena Revise. You're right. Mark Lamont Hill is another one who got his wake-up call from the left. Huh? Because he was just a little too early with the questioning of what's going on over there with the small hats. Huh? Officer Tatum, another one. They catching him up on all his type of hypocrisy. I would never cry in front of my wife. I would never cry. You see what happened to CK, and then he over here with the crocodile tears. Pathetic. Huh? All of these folks, look, the beauty of the environment right now is the people that are hypocrites is going to show you that they hypocrites. The people that are full of crap is going to show you that they full of crap. Huh? The internet will expose us all, Mr. Z says. Huh? Yeah. So on that note, y'all, I shouldn't even have streamed this long. So we're not gonna go too much longer. Shout out to Jeff St. James. This not was an attack on him. This wasn't even so much an attack on Doug, but I will listen to the whole thing. Y'all might get a part 2 after that. I am skeptical of us playing too far into respectability. This is an anti-black system in society. We have to be careful on what we choose to entertain. These folks are looking to justify their dehumanization of black people anyway. And in the face, check the title, in the face of dehumanization, we're asking black people to be stoic and to pretend like these folks are debating you about your own humanity in good faith. They're saying your behavior, they mean your humanity. Huh? And when the saddest thing is that we expect well-spoken, well-dressed black folks to then distance themselves from the black folks that are quote unquote acting badly while also maintaining that black person's humanity. That's a tall order. That is a tall order. And if I'm going to be fair, ooh, Z, I think the majority of us fell at that. Ooh, damn, Z, you said that. I think the majority of us fell at that. Huh? Distancing yourself from Lakeisha with the bonnet, loud, um, loud on her phone, making a ruckus at the gas station, distancing yourself from her while also trying to humanize her in front of your white coworker. I think the majority of us fell at that. Yeah. So the Arena Revive says, "Have you heard Dark Skinned White Girls by Murs?" No, 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 no. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. Y'all might get a stream on that. But Z got things to do. So we will pause right there, y'all. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content for the love of God. And the Arena Revive, I'll check that out. Y'all might get a stream about that too. And let me finish listening to Jeff St. James and the brother Doug. I know he bought it in a panel. I think not a panel, but I kind of, you know, when you kind of slide forward and see what was going on, and then you go back to listen to it. So it looked like he bought people onto the stream later on in the stream. So this would be interesting to listen. But Mr. Z couldn't get an hour without giving some type of commentary because whoa there. And we'll pause right here. Truly, love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content for the love of God. Shout out to Jeff St. James. Shout out to the brother Doug. Yeah, I don't know if Mr. Z did a good job at being stoic. I didn't. And not being emotional. I definitely didn't do that. But there is something to be said about asking Black folks in the face of dehumanization to be stoic and disciplined. When someone is using the word behavior, using the word conduct, but in actuality, they're trying to justify dehumanizing you and those that look like you. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Mr. Z out. Shout out to the replay gang. Thank you, button. Hype button. All right, y'all.
You are now listening to Mr. Z Blackneffect.